大家好，今天是5月28号。经过6周的审判，川普总统的烽火费案今天到了案件审议的最后一个环节，就是控辩双方呢做结案陈词。那结案陈词呢，不过是案件审判的一个程序，我认为不会有太多的波澜。控辩双方的结案陈词也就是控辩各方呢陈述自己的一些结论，各说各的话，实际上呢是说给12名陪审员听的，从而影响陪审员的审判。那今天的结案陈词这个过程并不复杂，控辩双方呢做出自己的最后的陈述也就结束了，没有什么太多的新的内容。双方谈的内容呢在辩论过程中已经讲了很多了，再没有什么新的一些内容呢出现，所以呢，结案陈词也就是做了一个结论。当然，川普的律师认为这个案子不成立，所以向法院呢提出了这个撤销案件的这样的申请。那但是控方呢，就是检察官，他就认为这个案子要审判，双方就是到这样的一个环节了。那让我看今天值得关注的呢是法庭外的一些事情，就法庭外的双方的一些斗争，那才是有看头的。拜登的竞选团队呢在法庭外呢举行了新闻发布会。可能是这是他第一次他们是首次在这样的场合进行发布会，不知道为什么非得要赶着这种结案陈词这个环节来做这样的新闻发布会。表面上是在法庭最终审判前呢进一步的攻击川普，影响一下社会的舆论。让我看实际上是对川普在纽约集会做出的反应。我们知道这一次川普在纽约的集会对民主党是刺激性很大的，尤其是对纽约的这些政客那有很大的冲击力的，所以他们利用这样的一种场合，而且在这种结案陈词这种环节下，这种环境下大家都在关注嘛，所以他们做了一个新闻发布会。拜登竞选团队这次公开露面，有意思的是呢，弄了一个好莱坞的演员叫德尼罗来站台。这个演员可能大家都挺熟悉，演了不少的电影。结果呢遭到了抗议者的大声的呵斥。有人用汽车的报警器表示不满。有评论人士认为川普在纽约的竞选操作让拜登团队有一点慌不择路了。在同一个场合，川普的竞选团队也发表了讲话。
Why is Joe Biden now making this a campaign event after months of weaponizing the legal system against President Trump? Because Joe Biden's numbers are in the tank. The headline for today in Politico very simply said, Dems in freakout over Joe Biden. Joe Biden is losing nationally, is losing in every single battleground state, and President Trump's numbers continue to rise. And the best that Biden can do is roll out a washed-up actor. And don't worry, my remarks will be shorter than the Irishman. I won't make you suffer for 3 hours. But the best they can do is roll out a washed-up actor. Last week, President Trump spoke in the Bronx, where he had over 25,000 people show up to rally around him. And the best the Biden campaign could do was put out a web video with Robert De Niro. There is nothing behind the Biden campaign. Their numbers are in the toilet. Kamala Harris is a terrible alternative, and it's all an attempt to try to turn around the Biden campaign. Now, what's happening here in Manhattan? We're in closing arguments for the Biden trial. We've been here for 6 weeks. Nobody has said that President Trump did anything wrong. We have a highly conflicted judge with an unconstitutional gag order, and everybody sees this case for what it is. In fact, the New York Post this morning, with the headline from Jonathan Turley, as Trump trial comes to close, DA's flimsy case is nothing to brag about. Everybody knows this case is complete garbage. President Trump did nothing wrong. This is all politics. If you don't think this is politics, then why did the Democrats wheel out a retread like Robert De Niro to try to change the subject? You could see the look on the Biden campaign staffers' faces. They knew this was a bad idea. They didn't want to be here. But somebody at Central Command told them, that everything is going down the tubes for Joe Biden.
对于今天的结案陈词和案件结论呢，众议院的议员迪姆·伯切尼早有了结论。他在接受 Newsmax 采访的时候呢，对案件最后的审判呢做出了回应。
We'll have reasonable doubt or some common sense and just realize just how trumped up this thing is. You know, you change the statute of limitations and then you change the classification of the crime. This thing is just a horrible miscarriage of justice, and I think the American public sees it.
川普总统今天呢也发表了将近5分钟的讲话，他说今天对于美国来说是非常危险的一天，也是非常悲伤的一天。
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Make no mistake about it. I'm here because of crooked Joe Biden. The worst president in the history of our country is destroying our country. This country is being destroyed rapidly, not slowly, rapidly. On the borders, on energy, on inflation, on everything you can name. Afghanistan removal, everything about what he's done. He's destroying our country. And he's also destroying it with weaponization. And this is purely his weaponization. See who's in the courtroom. You go just see who's in the courtroom. You'll see. And you'll see where they come from. And if you report it accurately, a lot of people are going to be very upset. But this is all election hunting, election interfering. It's going after Joe Biden's political opponent because he can't do it himself. And they're helping out. And we have a judge who's highly conflicted. He happens to be corrupt. It's the worst confliction. It's the worst that anybody's seen. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. There can't even be the prospect of an impropriety. And it's a shame. Wall Street Journal editorial report today, Alvin Bragg hasn't proved his case in the Trump trial. The evidence shows why the charges should never have been brought. After 20 days in court and a trial transcript of 4,000 pages, the missing piece is still the missing piece. There is no crime. Wall Street Journal. Jonathan Turley, a classic closing page by the lawyers, is to use a physical object like a three-legged stool. If any three-legged stool is missing and any leg is missing, the stool absolutely collapses. Even a cursory review of the evidence shows that this case does not have a leg to stand on. This is a case without a leg to stand on. This is Jonathan Turley. The case against Trump should end in a very strong not guilty. Not guilty. I don't know these people, but they're great legal scholars. Greg Jarrett, every defendant has the fundamental right to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation against him, but Bragg never abided by that constitutional guarantee. Even worse, Mershon let him get away with it. He let Bragg get away with it, a trial that Bragg didn't want to put. And he should have done it 7 years ago if they were going to do it. They should have brought this case 7 years ago, not in the middle of my presidential election, where I'm leading by a lot, Biden by a lot. They brought it right in the middle of the election. Hopefully it doesn't work out for them. The same way allowed the local court to be misused to enforce a federal law over which he has no authority or jurisdiction. They have a federal law which they're using, but they have absolutely no authority. And under the federal law, I did nothing wrong. Andy McCarthy, former FEC Commissioner Bradley Smith, that's the expert that they wouldn't allow me to use, the #1 in the country. FEC Commissioner Bradley Smith's testimony would have established that Trump cannot have willfully violated FECA, that's Federal Election Campaign Act, because NDAs are not campaign expenditures. You know, there's nothing wrong with an NDA. They're signed all the time by many, many companies. They sign them literally on an hourly basis. Because NDAs cannot have, and then it says Trump did not have a FECA legal duty with respect to them. He could not have intentionally flouted the known legal duty. In other words, he's innocent. Mark Levin, same thing. The Bragg case is about lawfare run amok against a former president running again for president. It also represents the greatest effort to interfere with and steal an election. Donald Trump did nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. This is everybody saying it. Except we have a judge who's corrupt. We have a judge who's conflicted. You know what the conflict is. So do I, but I can't say it because I'm under a gag order, which is another unconstitutional thing. You ever hear of a president, leading candidate, leading Biden, leading everybody, and have a gag order? I'm not allowed to speak. It's a first. No president has not been allowed to speak. But this is it. Read the cover today of the New York Post. Read all the stories in the New York Post. Everybody says this is crazy. This is not a trial that should happen. It's a very sad day. This is a dark day in America. We have a rigged court case that should have never been brought, and it should have been brought in another jurisdiction. As you know, we asked for that, and the judge never allows us anything. And just to end, we had an election expert who was going to say everything was perfect, where the FEC did nothing, it was fine. And we had a lot of other people. I could give you a list of 40 people that would say the exact same thing as these people said. So thank you all very much. We'll see how it goes. This is a very dangerous day for America. It's a very sad day. Thank you.
封口费案子的结案陈词可能今天就结束了。也就是说，公开开庭审判的环节呢，基本上已完成了。接下来就是法庭审议。据说呢，陪审团可能会在审议过程中呢出现分歧。目前呢，主审法官也没有对川普的律师团队提出的撤销案件的请求呢做出裁决。这说明法官并没有回绝撤销案件的请求。也有说法呢，是法官呢在最后审判表现出了十分矛盾的心理。那么究竟案件最终的审理的结果是什么样，就是陪审团的最后的审议的结论是什么样，目前还看不出来。会不会撤销这个案件，目前也没有最后的结论。那根据进度呢，这个案子可能会很快就有一些结论了。那么作为审议，就是陪审团的审议，按照时间的算计也最多不会超过1个星期，这个案子就能够有了结论。好，我们拭目以待，看看这个案子最终会是什么样的一个结果。好了，今天的话题呢就聊到这儿，下次节目我们再见。